Going to ask a very, very strange question. It shouldn't be a strange question. It should be a question that we've all been asking ourselves. But is Tommy Robinson been held illegally? In other words, is his imprisonment, his incarceration illegal? And there are legal experts that I've been talking to that would suggest that he may well being held against the law. And why is that? Well, Tommy, as you know, has been held in Woodhill Prison. Woodhill Prison is a category B prison. Tommy isn't even a criminal prisoner. He's what's called a category D prisoner. Now, this may all sound quite technical and quite confusing, but let me put it very simply. A Cat B prison like Woodhill can hold Cat A prisoners, including terrorists and including Islamist terrorists. Now, obviously, what the prisoner's done with Tommy is basically made him a bit like Rudolf Hess. If anyone remember Rudolf Hess, the prisoner of Spandau, he was a war criminal who was responsible for tens of thousands, possibly millions of deaths in the Second World War, and he was held for many years on his own in Spandau prison. I think it was, if I remember rightly, I think it was Berlin. So Tommy has been held in a very, very similar sort of circumstance. Obviously not for as long, but again, this is a human rights issue. This is an issue of illegality. And the question is, has somebody in the system broken the law? So what's the difference when we look at this and we look at what a Cat B prison is and a Cat D prison? In Cat D prisons, inmates are given the opportunities to rebuild their lives, to rehabilitate. They are able to go out and work in the community. And as their sentences go on, eventually they're allowed to even go home one day a week to be with their families. Now, obviously, thinking about what Tommy's situation is, remember, he has not broken any criminal law. He's not in prison for a hate crime. He's not in prison for violent assault. He's not in prison for violent disorder. He's not in prison for assaulting a female police officer and breaking her nose. In fact, the individuals that did that aren't even remanded, but that's another story. So here's the key point. Tommy has already served over a quarter of his sentence, around 3 months. This means that Tommy qualifies for what's called a fled date. That allows D category prisoners access to work, temporary release, and community reintegration. In other words, he can get home to see his family. He's not having to have his family come through numerous bolted and locked doors. And I told you in a video I did recently how sinister that is. What's being done to Tommy Robinson is extremely sinister. So, if he's not a Cat C prisoner, he's certainly not a Cat B prisoner, he's a Cat D prisoner. Why has he been not recategorized, and why is he not been moved to a prison where he is not as isolated, where he can start his so-called rehabilitation and he can start going home? And of course, if he goes into the Cat D system, he should also, in a very, very short period of time, be allowed to go home permanently wearing a tag. And these are serious questions because if Tommy is being held illegally, we need to find out who's responsible for that. We're not blaming the prison officers in Woodhill Prison. We're not blaming police officers. We're not even blaming the judges, although I have my suspicions. No, there's something going on. Again, there's something going on, we believe, at the highest level that is meaning that Tommy is quite possibly being illegally held. Think about that. In the United Kingdom, in the 21st century, the most popular and famous citizen journalist in the world is being held illegally in prison. Why and by whom? These are serious questions that need to be answered. And this is why we're doing the event on the 1st of February next year. When we gather in London, and I'm not going to say about where we're going to go or where we're going to start from, but we're going to be gathering in London on the 1st of February. And those questions, hopefully those questions will be answered by then. If we start making enough fuss now, by the time we go and do our event on the 1st of February 2025, Tommy will at least be in a Cat D prison, and hopefully will be getting ready to be released early on a tag so he can go home and be with his family. There's something that stinks about this. There's something not right about this. We want to get to the bottom of it. We can only do that with your help. We need support. We need everybody to get to that event on the 1st of February. We need everybody to start sharing this message on their social media so people that realize Tommy may well be being held illegally in Woodhill Prison when he should be in a much less stringent and strict regime. See you all soon.